interesting. His podcast has always been really good. Joe Rogan,
Hmm.
shout out to him, man. I think he's one of the real. I wouldn't say first, but I would think he was one of the first. Not first podcast. Podcasts have been around for a long time. I think he's one of the first podcasts that actually went video form and actually made a wave into being able to talk on camera and do it on a YouTube platform. I mean,
No,
podcast been around for a long time. I think one of the biggest ones ever was y'all remember we're still doing it, Howard Stern. Howard
Howard
Stern been
Stern,
doing
yeah.
podcasts for a long time, but it wasn't really on video. That's been on YouTube and it's been viral and all that stuff. So but Joe Rogan has done a lot. He has a lot of interesting people on his podcast, from celebrities on to doctors on to anybody that's interesting goes on his podcast. And shout out to him. It's a good podcast, but it was an interesting segment that I saw. Is a
Is-
journalist slash therapist, whatever, but she has some. She made some interesting points. So we're gonna hear what she got to say. We'll chop it up. And this one's a little bit of a long one. Pause. Um, I think it's like four and a half minutes. That was the shortest clip I could find, so it's gonna be a little bit of a minute, but y'all listen in. I haven't watched the whole thing, but we'll watch it together and see what we got. You know what she's talking about. Let's go.
We used to give kids and we stopped because we became so obsessed with the idea that anything could be traumatizing.
Well, we're also worried because the media is constantly depicting these stories of children getting kidnapped and killed
Sure.
and this and that
Sure.
and predators.
Sure.
That's a real fear.
Right. But you can't protect kids from every kind of pain. Right? We are so obsessed with, I've had parents call me about a bad, or I've heard of, teachers getting upset about bullying. And what was the bullying? Someone said something not nice to someone else. Now, I tell my kids to treat people kindly, of course. But I have to tell you something. If my kids came to me and said, she said something mean to me, I would say, work it out. It's not going to kill you. You'll live. Why? Because if I make my kids think, and I learned this from the process of writing the book, if I make them think that my job is to make sure they never feel any emotional distress, ever, boy, that's a lifelong journey, and it's going to be a losing one. There is good psychological research shows that the things we're doing with kids are not helping. They're counterproductive. And there's a lot of research that shows that the old way of doing things, which is don't take a pill if you don't need it. Don't go to a therapist if you don't need it. You have a problem, talk to a friend, talk to an aunt, talk to someone who loves you
Yeah.
and really cares how you turn out.
Yeah.
If you can go to religious, a priest, but go to a therapist if you really need it. But don't do it casually. I mean, I talked to moms who did it because a pet died. Or they did it prophylactically before the kids had any problems. They said, I wanted my teenager to know she had someone who was on retainer to talk to in case she had a problem. Not having any sense that therapist could also introduce worries.
And then there's also probably the issue of the child going to the therapist and enjoying the fact that the entire conversation revolves around them.
Sure. Of course, wouldn't you? I mean, and they get to rise above it all. They get to evaluate the job the parents are doing. You're going to raise a child who thinks she can scream or thinks she can march into a room and silence the entire room based on her preference. They aren't liberated to trust their own instincts and what they have seen work for others. And you know what? The examples are all around you if you look. There are people who are good people and you can ask them. By the way, immigrants, because they don't go for this nonsense usually. You can ask them, what was it like in the old country? Or what was it like where you came from? What are you doing? And they call this, have you ever seen this, the Latino paradox? They call this in the psychology. Why are Latinos, why do they have better mental health when they come to this country when they are immigrants before they assimilate? And the more they acculturate to American culture, the worse their mental health gets. Why? And part of the reason is they have social stability in their relational. They are surrounded by extended family, which also means people are saying the wrong things to them. They're saying insulting things. They're making inappropriate jokes. They're giving them foods mom doesn't approve of, and they're surviving it all. And also, they know they can.
The reality of hard work is inescapable.
That's right. They're not afraid of authority. Parents are in charge. They will give their kids chores and hard work. They will teach them, you know what? Mom's working 2 jobs. I'm not going to bother her with my trivial problem. But that liberates the kid to realize, hey, my problem is kind of trivial. There are bigger problems.
Right.
We're doing the opposite in this country. We're telling kids the small problem you have is so big. I'm going to stop everything to focus on it.
Right.
But I know, they've done these studies on human happiness. People who love you and you love back over a lifetime, family, friends you keep for a long time. Wow, those, that does a lot to help you be happy. Surrounding your kids with and giving them freedom to make friends. Maybe you don't like maybe they're not your favorite friends, but realizing that they're entitled to have their own friends. Trusting them to start a job or take a chance you wouldn't have picked for them. You have to let them figure some of this stuff out on your own. I mean, one of the things I did, so I changed a little while I was writing the book. And one of the things I did was my daughter was begging to walk home from the bus stop by herself. And she was little. She was 9. And I was scared. I don't even know if it's allowed in my state. But she really wanted to walk home from the bus stop. She had to cross 2 streets. And I let her. And I let her because I was interviewing parent after parent after parent who weren't letting their kids do things like that. And then they had 13-year-olds who didn't want to leave the house.
I was a latchkey kid. So when I was young, there was no supervision.
Right.
You just left.
Right.
When I was 6 years old, we just opened the door and walk out of the house.
Right.
Well, younger than that. I mean, there was never a time where there was any supervision.
Walking, by the way, things like walking to school are really good for kids. They learn to navigate their world. It's really healthy to have competency. And that's something you don't have to spend money on. That's the thing. All of these fixes are really, a lot of them are just common sense.
I love it. Yeah, that was a lot to unpack. Yeah.
Not bad. Interesting segment. I didn't get to watch. This is the first time me watching it with you guys. I watched maybe the first minute. I was like, maybe not a minute, like 50 seconds. I was like, oh yeah, this is good. But she didn't get into the meat of the subject at hand until the further part, and it was very interesting. Going close to something that I've said repeatedly. I almost think I sound like a broken record when I get on these podcasts because almost every subject goes into what my thinking is going forward. Growing in life is the broken foundation of actually having a solid family is so detrimental that it just mess up so many key things in your life or your kids' lives, your grandparents' lives. It just breaks down every single structure when things are not done correctly. And it does make sense when it goes straight to the kids. I mean, it says right in the Bible, it's a Sunday service, that the number one gift, he only says gift maybe once or twice in the Bible, but he says children are his gift to us. And the further that we look at the problems in America is looking at they always attacking the kids, attacking the kids, attacking the kids. And when you don't bring a child correctly in this world, it just it messes up their brains a lot. And then, as you know, everybody knows they go into a kid, go into adults, so it just mess up adults. And as you see, the main thing she was talking about was the kids, and they think for every single thing that they need, it's just like, he needs therapy, he needs this, he needs that. It's eye opening. I got more to say about it, but I'll let y'all chime in. What do y'all think so far? Do y'all think in some instances that therapy could be bad? What do y'all think?
I don't think therapy could be bad for the person who's intentional about going to get therapy. And I'm a therapy advocate because when you decide that you need therapy for somebody who is of a healthy mind, who is self aware, knows that, this is something that I am doing for myself because I might need more guidance or I might need more navigation on the subject at hand. Every time I've went to therapy, it wasn't the therapist telling me what my problem was. I come to them, letting them know this is what I'm dealing with, and if you can help me, and that's another thing about therapy is not every therapist works for you. Just like in the physical health realm, not every doctor could do what is needed for you. Not every doctor works for you. So you may have to try different therapists until you find somebody who aligns with you. I don't need someone who's going to give me the soft pat on the back. Excuse me. I don't need someone who can give me the soft pat on the back. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to work. I need work. If you can't tell me to do something, like give me a task, then it's not going to work. Now, that's my personal journey within therapy. But I've always went with an intention. So I'm in alignment with what she was saying that a lot of people go for therapy if you really need therapy. But a lot of stuff, I think you said it in another episode, Keith. You said it's called gentle parenting,
Mm.
and how I said that um, the start of the decline is acceptance. We accept so much, and then we was talking about bullying, and bullying is like a rite of passage. Like this is a normal thing, unless it's like severe. But you talk about like we used to call it wetting, cracking jokes. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like if you can't come back with a better joke, then it's on you. You know what I mean? Like step your game up.
Step
You
your game
know,
up.
something like that. But like using G's words, this generation has gotten soft.
Mhm.
It's gotten soft, man. I do love the video. I do agree. But I am a therapy advocate. I don't think therapy is bad for you. But if somebody else is putting you in therapy or you going to therapy because of somebody else, and how early it can be introduced. Usually, when I think of therapy, and y'all gonna have to cut me off because this is in alignment with me. This is my type of topic. Um, Usually, when I think of therapy, I'm thinking of already adult. You know what I'm saying? I don't think of therapy for a kid. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe late adolescent, maybe young adult. You know what I'm saying? But and that's only if it's something really traumatizing, where it's like life altering. You know what I'm saying? When it's something, if it's young, you know what I mean? But other than that, what she said, you used to be able to talk to your auntie. You used to be able to talk to people, bro. Talk to somebody. Everybody's so in their isolation. You know what I'm saying? And then the man is the victim to the monster of repetition. If you can only think, you only thinking of what you thinking, and it's only your thoughts all the time. Your thoughts are not always the right ones. You know what I'm saying? So that's how people spiral into depression. And this is what I be getting flack for. People say I'm insensitive, but this is a fact. Like this is how you spiral. It's a consistent negative self thinking. You know what I'm saying, of your situation or yourself, and a lot of it can be alleviated by talking to somebody. And a lot of people go to therapy now just to talk to someone who they know is legally not supposed to judge you, right? So you're going to therapy, and I'm not saying that that's a bad thing because it works for some people, but you're literally just looking to talk to somebody. You just want to be able to have a good conversation or get your point across without somebody saying that whatever judgment that you are trying to avoid. And the thing about therapy, a good therapist is not going to avoid. It's not the judgment. Like I said, when I went to therapy, I had clear work that I needed to work on because I work on myself anyway. I'm a self-care advocate. I'm a therapy advocate. I got a healthy mentality. I have a healthy outlook on life and a healthy outlook on myself. If there's some actual, I'm very self-aware. If there's some actual problems that I'm dealing with that I feel like I might need some extra assistance on, some extra navigation on, because I'm still therapy is just it's just the GPS to the destination that you want to get to. You know what I'm saying? Mentally, wherever you want to land, therapy helps navigate you to that. So for me, like I need to work. You know what I'm saying? I need to work. I don't need the soft. I don't need the pat on the back. I don't need the you're not. You know what I mean? It's everybody else's fault. The kumbaya. I know a lot of people think of therapy in that sense because that's like the branding that it gets, but that's not it. You know what I'm saying? And if somebody approaches you with that and that's not for you, then you're gonna need to find a different therapist. But I'm an advocate for it after I've done a lot for myself and I see that, I'm still dealing with this or I'm still triggered by this or I'm still, you know what I'm saying? Like I could accept some things, but some things I want to change. I want to be better in.
Shine. Get your shine on. Get your shine on, shout it.
Yeah. So, hey, I put this on. I put it on everywhere. Booty cheeks, kneecaps, underarms. I got the vanilla right here. Usually, hey, I got the lavender one. It helped me sleep good. Cause I be sleeping like this, and I can smell it off my hands. I'm trying to tell you, feeling good. Y'all better rock with this.
Right.
It's that vanilla. Yeah.
Listen, man, we ain't being ashy no more. Hygiene. Yeah. Hygiene is important. You need to get your shine. It's hydrating. It's light. It lasts all day. You don't got to use a lot, and it's good from face to foot.
Historically, I don't really use lotion or nothing like that because I'm like in a hybrid, light skin, in between dark skin motherfuckers. Coming back from vacation, I'm a little sunburnt. So I needed something to get my skin back right because I'm feeling like a reptile right now. So I'm gonna get this baby going on when I get home.
Oh, and look, you gotta shine on, everybody. Hey, look, I got like 4 cases. I got a bunch of cases. And I got the big jar too. That's old school. Y'all don't even know about that. He don't even got those no more. But look, I'm telling y'all, this shine is amazing. Help with eczema, clear your skin up, all of that great stuff. So you don't want to miss out on this shine, man. Make sure y'all go get y'all a bottle of this.
All natural ingredients.
Absolutely.
Yep. Where they can find it?
So you can find this at shinecareproducts.com. Let them know that we sent you. Use the code FMF20, get you a discount.
Got to.
Let me get some assistance. You know what I'm saying? It's a conscious decision versus preventative or, I'm just looking for camaraderie. That's just camaraderie. If you're just looking for somebody to talk to, without judgment or somebody that'll agree with you. Like this is why we're social beings. This is why we're meant to interact. Talk to somebody. You never know, like we said on the last episode, you never know what somebody is going through, what somebody has went through, what is somebody going through. And they can have some insight towards your situation. Not that you're gonna broadcast everything that you're going through, but I digress. I'll come back because I didn't even touch on the point that she did steer it towards therapy for kids. And I'll come back to that. I digress. I'll let y'all speak.
I'm a pick up where you left off at that point right there. I don't think therapy is for kids. Like they haven't really gone through that much. They might have had a quote unquote traumatic experience here and there. If they saw somebody get killed or something, okay, that's extreme. Like not everybody, not like there's a low percentage of kids that go through that.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that, and I was walking home, and I saw that, and dude, hey, I went home.
Yeah, I seen people get shot, but I ain't see somebody like dying in front of me or anything like that. But yeah, I don't think therapy is for kids. I think like everything in this world that's becoming more easily accessible, making life quote unquote easier, is I see it differently. I'm self aware, so I see it as a socially constructed to alter people's minds. Like
Mm.
you think about something like this iPhone, right? You know, you don't need a landline. You know, you just need some Wi-Fi and whatnot, and you can like access the internet on this phone, right? But then on the internet, what do you see? All this, uh, drama, all this, negative shit, all this. You can access the news, you can access, what's going on in Gaza and Israel and all this other shit that's going, bring people at odds with each other over opinions and whatnot. Like it's all socially constructed to alter our minds. And I think when it comes to, you know, this generation, we talk about it, how this generation is soft. It is. And I don't think it's necessarily the kids' fault. I think somewhere we failed as like parents and in our generation and absorbing the same shit
Mhm.
and feeling like we got to change because what's popular or what's propaganda to be the right thing to do, i.e., oh, this kid went through something traumatic, they need therapy. They ain't even, we don't even give them space to search their own feelings. Like
Mm.
I agree with her. I think we are in the age where parents are feeling like their job is to not allow their kids to go through any emotional distress when that's character building. That's
Yeah.
character building. That you got to go through some shit to be uh a stable adult in this world. You gotta go through shit because once you go through shit and you get through it, you can you can just go forward. You know, like all right, like I went through this, I'm good. Like I'm going forward because you can't go back. You can't dwell on shit. You can't be stuck in one spot. And I think we coddle our children now, and it's just not like she said. It's not for the best. Um, I give you an example. Like I have a more distant cousin. She has a daughter, and she had a son before a son before that died shortly after birth, and she has this big picture of him. And the daughter asks, like, "Who's that? Is that my dad?" And yeah, and she telling her, "Yeah, that's your dad when he was a baby," because she's scared to tell her that she had a baby brother because she's asking for a baby brother. Like she already took to heart like the dog they had when she was 3 died, and she constantly, has episodes crying about that. But
Uh,
she hasn't mustered up the strength to tell her like this was your brother and he's no longer with us because of how she reacted to the dog dying and how she still has time with that. I'll be telling her you need to tell her because it's gonna be more fucked up when you tell her later, and then she go resent you for lying to her all the time, or a possibility of resenting you for lying to her all the time. But let me get back on the therapy aspect. Yeah, kids don't need therapy. Kids don't need a band-aid for everything. Like
right.
like and I fuck with her when she said talk about walking to school. Walking to school was like different. Like I ain't gotta take the bus. I walk home. You're like, yeah, y'all. I'll be like, yeah, y'all gotta take the bus. Y'all ain't on shit. Y'all ain't going through the trenches. Like I used to love walking home, running away from dogs. Being a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
scared, being a little scared
Adventure.
of the crackhead. On Brooklyn Park. Like, but I
Yeah.
had my brother. Like I'm always walking with my brothers, and we had a good old time just picking up acorns and throwing them at each other and shit, like little shit like that. Like walk, like I'm not gonna be a gentle parent, and I'm not gonna like just be not on top of my
Asshole.
kids, not on top of my kids, but I tend to want them to grow up how I grew up. Like I ain't I seen some shit. I seen my dad and my aunt fighting when I was a kid, and I'm like, oh damn, she just bit off a piece of his arm. Like, but he living, he good. Like literally, like I seen that shit. But it's
Yeah.
not to the point where I feel like, oh, I think I'm a, I think I'm gonna fight women when I grow up because I seen that shit. It's. I think somewhere we failed. We failed. Our generation failed. Is failing as parents to why kids think they are fucked up.
I think it's understandable that you would want to protect. And we kind of touched on this in the episode where we was talking about, like you're looking at the grocery cart and they got all of these snacks and all that stuff. The mentality is when you go through something in your life, most parents be like, my kid's not gonna go through that, right? Okay. But your kids can't appreciate all of what you're giving, what you're doing, how much you're doing for them if they never been through what you've been through to understand, right? So then I don't want to say it like this, but you're overly providing. You're overstepping. You're not letting them just be, and you're not letting them find themselves. I had a conversation with myself not too long ago, and I was just thinking about my mother, and I was like, I really appreciate her because throughout my entire childhood, she allowed me to decide. She told me it's up to you on, what I'm saying, like how I react, what I do. If I'm getting bullied, I'm ready to go fight. It's on you, but know the consequences, know your reactions and all of that stuff. It's A plus B equals C. If you do this, it's cause and effect. Know that, know your consequences. I think this ties into the YouTube prankster. They definitely was coddled. You know what I mean? You don't think that you have to deal with the consequences that may come because you've been so sheltered. This is the negative spoiled, right? You can tie so many episodes into this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is the negative spoiled side. This is the spoiled I do not agree with. Kids are supposed to be provided for roof, food, clothing, love. All right. But they also are discovering themselves, right? They also have their curiosity, their creativity, their imagination. Let them roam. There used to be like woods and creeks and stuff you could run through. You know what I mean? I remember I caught my first crayfish, crawfish, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Brought that shit home. I'm like, what the fuck? But it was exciting. Like you got so many different things just going outside and just being a child, bro. Like you said, get rid of the tablet, get rid of the, you know what I mean? All of that stuff, bro.
I'm with you. Like I'm gonna shout out my mom's. Like, and I think I told y'all on this podcast before. She told me like at a young age when we kind of acting up and stuff after pops gone and whatnot. But she was like, I can't teach y'all how to be men. I can't teach y'all how to be men. And I think being real about that, like
Yeah.
who would say that to their child now?
Right.
No, not the not a single mother. Like my mother was a single mother, but she ain't portraying that shit they do now, like
Right.
turning them into weak men and whatnot. But a shout out to her for telling me that because I'm an avid believer is you can't protect your kids from everything.
From everything.
You can't protect them from everything. Let them go through some shit. Let them go get bullied. I got bullied before, and it was I must tell a funny story. I had a passive aggressive bully. Like he didn't bully me, but he used to always ask for my honey bun, and I always give it to him because I seen him beat up other kids and shit when I was in kindergarten. But he would be my friend. He would be my friend if I gave him honey bun. He would protect me. Like anybody fuck with me, he would fuck with them. So as long as I gave him my honey bun, so I probably ate 2 out of the 5 honey buns a week that my grandma gave me. You know what I'm saying? But
that's the type bully I was.
yeah. You went to North, it might have been your ass. You went to North. Might have been your ass, goddamn. Oh man.
Say we know each other from somewhere.
I want my honey buns. I want my restitution, man. I want my restitution.
But
but yeah, like I'm an avid believer in like you can't protect your kids from everything. Like I even think my mom kind of tried to shelter us a little bit from the outside world because we went out in the neighborhood, but everybody came to our yard to play because we had the scooters and we had the basketball court and with the dirt court because it was nothing but dirt in the backyard because we done towed the grass playing basketball. Like everybody came to us, and then again, I always had my brothers, so I didn't need to go too far for social interaction and whatnot. But at the same time, it's like I some things when I went away to college and stuff, I'm like, dang, I ain't know about smoking weed and shit and what that was like and all that and drinking and whatnot. But it didn't make me go off the deep end. I didn't feel like, dang, I've been sheltered all my life. I need therapy. Like, how come my mom didn't tell me about these things and whatnot and sex and all this shit? But I didn't feel like I need to go up the deep end and seek therapy. I was like, okay, I know about it now, and I kind of, I also went to therapy, but that was because that was when I was like 25, 26 or something like that. I matured into an adult, but I went to therapy because I let interacting with somebody for so long take me out of my character, and I had to figure out like where I went wrong, and I had to remember who the fuck I was. I only went for the six free. I only went for the 6 free sessions that my insurance covered. Yeah. After that, I was like, okay, I'm here. Once I start getting the bill, like how much that shit costs, I probably still owe her for 2 sessions. Like, and I don't know where she at. She ain't come with collections. Cool. Like, she probably understood. Like, all right, he probably was all right. He just felt like he needed therapy, but he was all right the whole time. So, it's really it's. I didn't think about it like that at first, but her speaking. I'm not gonna say I wasn't challenged with that before. When I did go to therapy, my Arabic friends, they were like, "Why the fuck you going to talk to somebody that don't know shit about you? They like probably fucked up too outside of their professional realm. Like, what gives them the credibility to tell you or give you advice on what direction to go in, quote unquote, according to you, Trey?" But it does kind of point it. I'm a disagree halfway with what you said. Therapy can't navigate your way. It can point you the direction to start, but you're gonna have to still navigate some shit yourself.
Right.
You're gonna have to navigate to wherever your destiny is, wherever you feel like you need to get to. You gotta have to navigate that shit, even after therapy. So
you control the wheel.
Yeah.
You control the wheel.
Yeah. They just put you behind the car and tell you the gas and the brake,
Mm-hmm. You control the wheel, man.
Yeah. I'm kicking over to G, and you brought up this topic. I knew instantly, like I said, me and Trey announced our topics in the chat. So when I saw this third chat, I'm like, all right, this sounds like a Black Sheep G topic. So what does Brother G have to say about this topic? Therapy may be bad for you.
As I get older and I start to realize my past or look at other people and I hear what they go through, it just, and the fact that I'm getting closer with my faith every single day. It's just the more I get not disgusted with therapy, but I can understand why it's implemented, and I understand why I may be starting to turn the tide, and understand it might be bad. She had a lot of points to it. Is I read also Sunday service, man. Like I said, Sunday service. I'm getting more stable in the faith, and it's getting more connected. And it pointed me to another scripture where it said, God said, "Let no man teach you." And that makes a lot of sense. It's saying let no man teach you, not saying that if you didn't learn how to ride a bike, somebody to teach you how to ride a bike, or if you need to figure out how to build a house, something like that, somebody else got to teach you how to build a house, something like that. Not saying that. It's always good and bad to certain things, but when it comes to your faith and understanding the works of your mind, it's different when you talking to God and talking to the devil. Some of your thoughts are not really you. Your thoughts, you can't always listen to your thoughts. Sometimes your thoughts it may be maybe the devil telling you to do certain things, and you don't know what type of person that you're talking to when you're talking to a therapist. You don't know what spirits they are. You don't know who they are. And if you would think that if you think you need to go talk to another person instead of talking to God, then maybe something wrong in your life. That's what I kind of think. I'm going towards. It might be biased, but when I see the destruction of the family, and she pointed out then, I mean, back then when we focused more on family, therapy wasn't really a thing. It wasn't thing that was talked about. Something that people did because they had their parents to talk to. They had their siblings, and I think we've said this many of times, and everybody says it a lot. That phrase that it takes a village. Y'all agree that people say that it takes a village to raise a child. I think it was wrong. I think it's. I'm saying that the saying is wrong. I think we hear it wrong. I think when they said that back then, it took a village to raise a child. It was actually the village of that family, the village of that your brother or sister, your mom and dad, your aunts and uncles, your grandparents, your great
Hmm.
grandparents. That was the village that they were talking about. They weren't talking. I don't think they were talking about your neighbor or your teacher or your doctor. I don't think they were talking about that. And that's what I really think. I think that that's what they meant when they meant a village. You're not supposed to have a kid, a baby mama, or a baby daddy, and then have the teacher taking care of them, then have the babysitter to take care of them, then have the school driver to say something to them. I don't think it was meant to be that. I think you're supposed to learn everything that you need from a stable family, and the sense of having a therapist or having somebody else to talk to would be eliminated because you've learned everything from God and from your dad, and then trickle down from your mother. That's what I think. And then now, since the I would say the implement of having so many kids out of wedlock and so many things that are happening to the family, that we have implemented another person, which may be another parent, which could be a therapist, that think that you have to learn from them and not learn from God and your parents.
Shine.
Get your shine on.
Get your shine on, shout it.
So hey, I put this on. I put it on everywhere. Booty cheeks, kneecaps, underarms. I got the vanilla right here. Usually, hey, I got the lavender ones. It helped me sleep good. 'Cause I be sleeping like this, and I can smell it off my hands. I'm trying to tell you, feeling good. Y'all better rock with this.
Right.
It's that vanilla. Yeah.
Listen, man, we ain't being ashy no more. Hygiene.
Yeah.
Hygiene is important. You need to get your shine. It's hydrating. It's light. It lasts all day. You don't got to use a lot, and it's good from face to foot.
Historically, I don't really use lotion or nothing like that because I'm like in a hybrid, light skin, in between dark skin motherfuckers. Coming back from vacation, I'm a little sunburnt. So I needed something to get my skin back right because I'm feeling like a reptile right now. So I'm gonna get this baby going on when I get home.
Oh, and look, you gotta shine on, everybody.
Shine.
Hey, look, I got like 4 cases. I got a bunch of cases. And I got the big jar too. That's old school. Y'all don't even know about that. He don't even got those no more. But look, I'm telling y'all, this shine is amazing. Help with eczema, clear your skin up, all of that great stuff. So you don't want to miss out on this shine, man. Make sure y'all go get y'all a bottle of this.
All natural ingredients.
Absolutely.
Yep. Where they can find it?
So you can find this at shinecareproducts.com. Let them know that we sent you. Use the code FMF20, get you a discount.
Got to.
That's my way of thinking and seeing and sitting back and not being in my thoughts and thinking in my feelings and actually looking back from a bird's eye view, maybe how God is looking and seeing what's transpired in the past. And that's why there's so much needed for therapy. She might be right with that. I don't know. That's my theory. I mean, people hear this podcast and all the stuff they always say is kind of like conspiracy theories, but I just sit back and look at things a whole nother way now, me walking with my face. So I may be wrong, may be right, but that's how I'm seeing it. So that's my thoughts on it. I ain't got much else to say on it.
Have you ever had therapy?
No. The only time I had therapy, I'll take that back. Not therapy, that I was like, I need something to that I needed, and I was like, something going on with me. I had with my disease, my Crohn's disease. It's shown. They was telling me that it's shown with certain type of diseases. A lot of them that are fatal. That they want to talk to you. They want to have a therapist. So I was forced upon to have 2 times a therapist talk to me while I was in the hospital. I mean, I couldn't do nothing about it. And it was after my second surgery, and they show that people that continuously go to the hospital, they continuously sick, and I was young. So around like 1920, when I was in the hospital bed, I remember it was an Indian guy. He came in and they asked me about having what's that medicine? Depression medicine, and they wanted me to talk to a therapist. So there was no way I can not say it. I didn't know about paperwork. I didn't know about that. So maybe in paperwork I had to sign to say that I had to talk to him or something like that. I didn't know I was sick. So I remember him talking to me about, do you feel about your feelings? Do you feel like you want to take your life or anything like that? And I would hear, I was like, no, I don't want to take my life. I'm just a little sick.
Right,
I'm good,
right.
man. I'm praying. I'm good.
See,
But I remember that was the only time that I had to have a therapy talk to me. So after that, I ain't really um, go no therapist. So that's the only time I remember talking to one. It was kind of weird. I was
After
in the
having this
hospital bed.
conversation,
Hmm?
after hearing that, G, it sounded like they were trying to perpetuate you to sell you some drugs. Like,
Right.
you know,
Yeah, it's a hospital. I don't, and I'm not blaming therapy for that part or nothing like that. I think that was a part of the hamster wheel of the medical people. They want to sell
Yeah.
you stuff and they want to have stuff like that. So I don't blame that part really on therapy that they were trying to push it on me. I think it was just their protocol to try to get me into therapy and then get to sell more drugs to me and stuff like that. You know how the drug farm thing
yeah.
goes like that.
Yeah.
I don't think there was that part of therapy or anything like that. So my situation was a little bit different from people. That's the only time I had an interaction. But with me being my age or act like that, I never got into the phone book and said I'm gonna go get a therapist. I haven't done that. So
Yeah.
I won't say I wouldn't my bad taste to be on therapy on is bad because of that instance. I think my therapy was on what I said before, so that don't really count.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got you. I asked that because a lot of people, a lot of our people especially have that mentality towards therapy, who hasn't experienced it. And it's like, why would I pay just to talk to somebody and stuff like that? Um, Therapists, you may, and you can learn anything from anybody. You may learn something, but again, it's really just more self realization. So therapy is a tool, if you will, to get more in tune with yourself. Um, and it's a combination. Most of them will tell you, you need to talk to God if you are of that religion, if you are religious and believe in God, then they will tell you that you need to talk to God, you need to get more in tune with God or something of that sort, you know. So I understand when it takes a village. I wanted to kind of like push the needle a little bit and like, if, and I know this is like the main controversy around God in itself that people do. Um, if God provides everything for us, don't you think it was possible that He provided the therapist? Yeah.
I don't think God provides everything. I think because I still think the devil does a lot of things. Like God didn't provide being the people using drugs to do all types of things. God didn't provide to tell a person to go ahead and kill the babies that he sent to his gift. So it's like the devil still works in certain things. So I wouldn't say I'm not saying therapy is devil. I ain't saying
Right.
that. I ain't going that far. I ain't gonna say that. But I think that he lets people have they so much of a free will that it's all about decisions. So, but you're right. I think I think you're right. He does create every single thing, but I think it's hard to explain. But that,
I,
that's a
I,
good point. God provides a lot of
I,
stuff. So it
can I,
depends on your perspective, how you see it.
can
So
I can I chime in, G?
yes, sir.
So to Trey's question, like far as did God provide therapists, God God provides God provides humans. God provides people. Like people, and I'm not about to get into my beliefs. People are God. Like when you say therapists will say you got to get in tune with God, they tell you get in tune with yourself because it's within you already. Everything you need
Yeah.
is within you already. But as far as God providing therapists, I think in in some way of form or fashion, somebody, in the earlier times of human existence, somebody probably studied people and their actions, and these early social engineers and whatnot, probably figured like, hey, I could profit off, talking to people like that. It's probably an ongoing. It's probably more advanced now, but probably even back then, you can go back to the movies we watch of like old times with like Rome and whatnot. People would preach to crowds and try to to instill fear and whatnot to get the crowd to subscribe to this way of doing things or that way of doing things or be anti against this. It's just more advanced now, but I think people interacting with people, Trey. Even if it's you finding a therapist to talk to, yeah, that's kind of God working. But far as the telling people to become therapists, that's their personal journey. But it's I don't know. It's kind of a blended right there. Like I'm not gonna say God provided the psychology of people becoming therapists or that becoming an area of study to study human behavior and how the mind works. But somebody he did put it in somebody's head to think like, hey, we can make this into a profession and profit off it.
I think you're right. I think you're right. We've been we're not the. You would have to be stupid to think that this generation where therapy is so talked about and talked about and talked about that there wasn't bad stuff happening in further generations. This is how it is now. It's the most comfortable, and luxurious humans have ever been. So it's funny that we need more therapy for the most relaxed time that it is now,
Mm.
if you really think about it. And if you talk to our parents, they didn't really have therapists or nothing like that. But as you see, it was harder then. It was things were such harder back then. And it's funny to think that because we're so luxurious, we have air conditioning, we have cars that take us places, we have internet, we have Uber, we have so many things. And for some reason, people think that it's just so hard that you got to go talk to a therapist. It's kind of comical if you think of it a certain way. And that's why that's why older people like our parents or grandparents would look at us and be like, we don't need no therapy, anything like that. You'd be just fine. And
Mhm.
we may sway it all to be like, no, man, maybe something going on with us. But sometimes you gotta listen to your parents and listen to the older people. Like they've been through some serious stuff back then, like really
Mhm.
serious stuff. But somehow they were just fine. They still went to work. They still went fine. They were still good. Why do you think that all of a sudden we just need all this therapy? You need to go talk to somebody, and it's goes back to what you said, Keith. People realize like, oh, maybe, oh, dang, somebody caught one person that may want to talk. Let's turn this into a business. Let's go talk. Let's go make a business of talking to people.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
I think
it's
That's what we
to
doing.
see to
if
see
we
that. I mean, that's I can make money off of this. I know the first person was like, you can't make money off of talking to people. Yeah, that's crazy. Well, he's
and
like, yes,
another
I can. Let's say I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna call it, therapy.
That's what we.
That's,
That's what we
that's what I'm
doing.
gonna call it, and I'm gonna make some money off it because all I'm gonna do is just
true,
talk to you.
true.
So there was a
Another
person that did do that. They thought they was like, yeah, because I know guarantee the first person didn't make a whole bunch of money. Then they started getting better at it,
Yep.
better at it. That's how it was.
Yep. Y'all know me. I tell everybody this. I'm a more the older I get, like words, like the meaning of words, just kind of I kind of break them
Yeah.
down a little bit better. Like when you bring God into it, you know, I think this is what it says. I don't read the good book. Maybe I should, but we were made from dirt and clay and all this stuff that was already here. He made us from dirt and clay and dust and whatnot, and now we're getting further away from the ground. We're not grounded we're not a grounded society as we used to be. Like for like reason you said, G, with everything becoming easier, we just have lost. We're a little bit out of touch with ourselves because we're more in touch with technology than ourselves now. So we're not grounded. We're not grounded as much. Even though we come from the ground, but now we're scared to go out here and fall down to pick ourselves back up. We
Yeah.
just scared to go back to our roots. Everything like roots, ground, dirt. It's all like we're getting away from that. We don't want to get dirty anymore. We just
Yeah.
want to clean, unbothered, no emotional distress, like the lady said. We just want
Mhm.
everything to be peachy, but you don't learn. You can't expand your conscious. You can't if you don't go through anything. You're not living. You're not living.
Right.
You're
No,
just
you
kind of
see how
existing.
they you see how they took as soon as you took the two things out of school. When you took discipline out of school, you took the number one thing, you took God out of school. All of a sudden, kids need all this help.
This
All this. You took God out. It's just the states one by one they made that decision to take God out of school. some reason everybody want to talk. You can't walk your kid. They can't walk to school. They
You can't
bringing
hit your
guns to
kids.
school. They
You
getting
can't
more
hit your
fights
kids
in
no more.
school.
Can't hit
If
your
you
kids no
just
more.
exactly, if you
Like
slow down, even if you're not a religious person, I understand there's everything like you don't have to be a religious person, but actually listen to what I'm saying. Once you see that they're taking away so much God away, you're seeing how bad it gets. You don't have to be Einstein or a religious person just to see what's going on. You ain't got to even believe in God, but actually see what's happening. As soon as you take away God from certain things, it just crumbles. And you can think it's crazy, you think it's wild, but after a while, you got to sit down and be like, maybe he might be right. You ain't got to be religious. You got to be like, maybe that's right, maybe it's not. But you can see how it's slowly going, and it's a test to that. In school, in middle school and elementary, when God was in school, you would you wouldn't even think about there was kids out there doing all the stuff that they're doing right now. It wasn't happening. It was not happening at all. So you had to figure out what happened. If you can find a different thing that correlates to what happened, then I'll say that I'm wrong. But you can't think of anything else that correlates to what happened. So I mean, it's on the person, man.
I would say this is I agree in the sense of it. But it's not the therapy that that is the target there. And coddling the kids is detrimental. This is what the result will be. But the kids should feel comfortable to be able to come talk to the parents. If there are siblings, they should be able to talk to one another. I know me and my siblings didn't always get along, but we was forced to. It was like, hey, y'all under the same roof. I remember like I said, it's my big sister, my older sister. We would get in a fight, and my grandma would take this one big T-shirt and put us both. We both in this one shirt, so we ain't had no choice but to be beside each other. You know what I'm saying? Until we resonated our differences. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, that's
Stuff
therapy.
like yeah, no, for real. It's stuff like that. I will say that we've gotten away from all of this acceptance, lack of discipline, and all of that stuff plays on your mind. It does. I'm not gonna say that it's towards the therapy though. Therapy, if needed. Now, what I will say, because I'm a therapy advocate, what I will say is everybody's trauma isn't the same. Everybody's triggers aren't the same. But I'm not I'm not personally a coddler, So if you like I'm accountability first. So if you are dealing with something, a lot of people problems to me aren't actual problems, and that's because of how much I've went through. But I don't take away the fact that this is your problem. This is something that you're going through. I've been through it, or I've been through something worse, but it doesn't help for me to compare. Like, oh, that ain't nothing. I done did da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? That's me. I'm better because of it. This is what you dealing with. You got to go through it. I would rather just. He's like anxious and really. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
I would rather, like, hey, you got to go through your stuff. You got to get through your stuff. It's your problem. Your problems are for you. Like we said, it builds character. It builds the person that you want to be. If you anything that you asking for, that you want, that you pray for, anything that you set out for, you're gonna go through what you're gonna go through. I'm the person that can sustain whatever it is, whatever goal that you're trying to achieve. And I know this to the core. So I'm not a nice guy when it comes to a lot of this type of stuff, and a lot of therapists aren't either. There's a lot of therapists that I resonate with that are like assholes, right? You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
that would tell you like, oh well, you know what I mean? It's like, oh well, the same stuff that one of us would say. But if people don't feel like they have one of us, or don't, because a lot of people, like I said, have been cut off from a lot of. We don't trust a lot. We don't talk a lot. That's why you can't have community without communication. Is we don't even talk to one another. So we don't have those accountability partners, then yeah, you're gonna get it from wherever you can get it from. I think that you should if you absolutely need it. And if you do see that you need it, shout out to you because, like I said, that's a self development tool. That's something that you're doing to improve yourself. So I ain't gonna knock therapy. I do understand the mentality towards like the softer approach or like like the sympathy. I'm not a sympathy person. I'm an empathy person. Give me understanding. Don't say it's not my fault if it is. You know what I'm saying? Like accountability first. If it's something that I could have done or can do, then I need to be doing something versus is everybody else's fault. That doesn't solve anything, right? That doesn't do it for me. So I understand the mentality when it comes to, especially for the kids. The only time that I've heard about therapy for kids is usually from like a divorce or something. And the kids, if you ever looked at these, I've looked at some of these sessions and stuff. The kids always like be drawing and coloring. They be cooling. You know what I'm saying? They be like, yeah, daddy's in another house. You know, like it is what it is. But everybody else is projecting their feelings onto the kid to make the kid feel a certain type of way.
Yeah.
Kids, pure spirited, they already can get the juice. You know what I'm saying? They already know.
They probably like, I got two places to play now. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
you know,
At some point, they probably get upset, like why daddy ain't coming home, or why mama not here. Mama cook better. Why she not here? Or this not my mama. You know what I'm saying? Like they might get upset at some points, but they understand. I think it goes back to what I said about the parenting is you trying to, like y'all said, you can't protect them from everything. And I understand the sense of protection, and it comes from a loving place, but you also got to realize the consequences of your actions. You have to be able to instill in this little human the will, the capability to think for self, and for them to define who they are. You know what I'm saying? With certain morals and principles. As long as you instill in the morals in them, then their life is up to them. Everybody is in control of their own life. You know what I mean? So, hey, I'm an advocate for therapy if needed. Is usually towards adults. But you can't have community without communication. Let's not fret from talking to people. You're not going to know everybody's intentions. Uh, you're not going to know what somebody else is dealing with. I think that that's just a universal truth. I accept that, and I accept myself. So I'm willing. I have a sense of groundedness in myself. I'm grounded in myself enough to know that I don't need to sway to the opinions of others if it doesn't align or benefit me in any type of way.
My bad. Anything else, man? Before we wrap up, this has been a long topic. Anything else?
no, I think we covered everything there was to cover. I'm kind of like, go ahead, Troy.
I want to say this for everybody, new commercial out. For everybody who can't catch us live, for everybody who is on the go, we are on the Spotify platform. Spotify has been booming lately. If you just need the audio and you just need to listen to us on the go to Spotify, search FMF, and we there.
Plug.